welcome to the Rat Race Dirty Weekend at Burghley. 5,500 competitors for a stamina test with a difference. This is not your typical weekend in the countryside. This is an event in the magnificent grounds of a 16th century country house with landscape gardens by Capability Brown. It's an estate famous for the horse trials. The Da Vinci Code was filmed here, as was Pride and Prejudice. And there'll be plenty of pride on the line on this, the world's biggest assault course. It really is an event not for the faint-hearted, and it all wraps up with a spectacular after-party, if you've still got enough energy, that is. Well, 17 waves of competitors, which means an early start, and all the big boys are going in wave one.
I know quite a few guys at the Rat Race now, and this is the one they've all been billing as the one to do and to aim for. And 20 miles and 200 obstacles, it's a whole different ballpark.
You know, this is the world's biggest assault course, and we wanted to make sure we made a bold statement. Some of the obstacle builds here at Burghley are going to be permanent. Some of them are semi-permanent, which means we can build on year. The estate's been fantastic to work with, and they've allowed us to really bring the most out of the terrain. You know, we've got a bit of undulation here, we've got the horse jumps themselves, we've got water, we've got farmlands. Some of the obstacles are pretty big. We've built some frames, one called the Ewok Village and one called Legends of Sherwood, where people get up into the treetops. There's also a lot of water in the course. It's a bit of a blustery day, which makes the whole thing a little bit harder as well.
Well, it's not called the Dirty Weekend for nothing. Here is a map of what lies in store for the thousands of hardy competitors. It's around about 20 miles, and there are 20 obstacle zones. A total of 200 individual obstacles to negotiate. The course heads south past the town of Stamford. Water wipeout is one of the trickiest challenges, along with biggest, baddest and boldest, which contains the world's longest monkey bars, over 100 metres. There is a short course option, but most competitors are completing the full mucker. Most people would say that when it comes to obstacle races, this is the daddy of them all.
It is 20 miles, it's tough, it's a real badge of honour. You know, to complete this course is tough.
A good warm-up is essential here because every muscle group is used, and there's no doubt for those into these type of races, this is the one.
Sounds deep, sounds real deep. There's gonna be water, mud, there's gonna be monkey bars, there's gonna be hay bales the size of a house. But yeah, it's gonna be off the chart. It's gonna be off the chart.
It's gonna be hell. No, yeah. 20 miles, 200 obstacles, a lot of mud, a lot of water. If I go to town, will tell about how well people are going to be prepared.
What made us want to sign up for this event?
Yeah, we were having a drink one night and thought we'd do it.
I have no idea, because of the buzz, I guess.
Because I'm crazy.
7, 6, 5.
But it's tougher than a marathon, so we ran one of those a couple of weeks ago. We thought we'd just step it up to the next level now.
I've done Tough Mudder, so I thought I'll try and up the game a little bit.
We did some of the sort of low-key ones, this Tough Mudder, but we're going to do the real one today. This Dirty Weekend is what it's all about.
What am I worried about? I ain't really worried about anything.
Petrified, yeah.
Excited. It's going to be immense, absolutely immense.
It's good nerves, so yeah.
I suppose not finishing would be a real sort of disheartener, but making sure we drink the beer tent dry as well at the end, so it's all about having a good bit of fun.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, this is it. The Rat Race Dirty Weekend at Burghley is underway. Wave 1 will contain the winner, but this is a stamina test with a difference. It's all about who can pace themselves. Unlike the guy in the maroon t-shirt, I'm not sure he's likely to feature towards the end. This really does work every single part of the body. On the left, Ross McDonald in the red, an experienced campaigner at these type of races.
Tend to do fairly well in them now, at top 5 in most of the races. The survival of the fittest races, Cardiff I've won once, and then London I've come second twice. I just love any adventure racing with the obstacles. Love the competitiveness of them and just challenging myself to get over every obstacle.
Well, he's looking fairly light on his feet, Ross McDonald, as he checks his watch. Now they move towards the first obstacle zone. It's the car park, and this will give you an indication as to how much of a challenge this event really is. It's all about disrupting rhythm. John Alban was just on the edge of frame there. He's in third place and is definitely one to watch. Now here in the early stages, they're through these obstacles with a hop, step and a skip, but these will get ever more difficult as the race continues. And remember, we're looking at the leaders of wave 1, McDonald and Albon, making a good start here. Rather appropriate that there are hurdles in the early stages of this race, because David Cecil, better known as Lord Burghley, was the Olympic 400-metre hurdle champion in 1928. A huge and revered figure within British athletics, and hopefully he would have been approving of the sporting endeavours going on at his former home here today. Meanwhile, back with the leaders, McDonald and Albon, both experts in these kind of races.
It's completely different to just a marathon run. Just getting back into your stride after a difficult obstacle, it can take another half mile to get your breathing back.
Well, both these guys looking pretty relaxed, almost having time for a conversation as they negotiate the cross-country jumps used in the world-famous horse trials.
I normally say I'll go off steady, but that normally goes out the window. I normally go to the top few positions quite early on. Bearing in mind this is 20 miles long, I'd like to probably sit in the top 5 for the first half and then push up.
Well, he's not just sitting in the top 5, he's right alongside John Albon, but the man in blue will be feeling very confident here. He has stamina to burn.
I've won quite a few events now, actually, to be honest. Probably the most prestigious being the Men's Health Survivor the Fittest Battersea Power Station race. That was really good fun. And obviously this is sort of like my next big race after that, so hopefully I can follow on the success. Yeah, keep it cool, relax and go for it.
Well, it's all thumbs up, smiles and friendship at the moment as they negotiate the inflatable, but there's a surprise package waiting at the end of this school day's obstacle, and it stands in the form of the big burly guys from Stamford Rugby Club. They've got the tackle bags and they've got a big appetite for the job, and McDonald's taken a little bit of a side swipe there, which has enabled John Albon to steal a few metres, and he's looking pretty composed here. Meanwhile, negotiating their way past the first 2 obstacles, there are thousands just beginning their full mucker adventure. Oh, there are some fighting back here, giving as good as they get to the rugby boys. And some good footwork as well from some would-be speedy wingers. Oh, he's really taking a hiding. He's emerged unscathed. Well, as the house stands, magnificently resplendent as an example of 16th century architecture, you wouldn't know that elsewhere in these beautiful grounds there is a seriously tough race going on the world's biggest assault course. Well, we saw John Albon take a little bit of a lead when he was negotiating the rugby players, and he's built on that. Ross McDonald now locked in a battle for second place. And it's very early stages to be getting this wet. It's not so much the mud, it's more a case of the feet being soaked. This really is a challenge that will test the mental stamina as well as the physical ability to complete the course. So Albon's really nailing his colours to the mast, but is Ross McDonald using slightly different tactics, pacing himself here, knowing there is a long way to go. He's taken a face full of dirt, but he's still smiling, and he's clearly now back up into second place. Now a glimpse of the leading ladies. Jackie Stretton in the shades, followed by Sally McCarthy of Ireland, who's so dirty she looks like she's having a mud bath at a local spa. Now, one of the first of several times they may taste the water in the lake. Some of these challenges are absolutely exhausting, difficult to stay on your feet. Jackie Stretton is still smiling, and she's a little bit cleaner than she was when she went through the mud.
Lovely. I needed a wash. Only, 15 miles to go?
Well, there's a glimpse of a much cleaner looking Sally McCarthy, veteran of several River Rat race events. Back on the course, away from the water, and she, like the rest of the field, will run past the town of Stamford, through the mud run and onto the construction site, which is getting towards the halfway stage of this event, and Albin is still in the lead. Well, I guess the question that has to be asked here is, has John Albin gone a little bit too hard, too early? He has got the advantage at the moment, but McDonald is an experienced campaigner and he may look to close the gap. Now, how about this, the water wipeout? This is an absolute monster. You can't just wade to this fun-looking obstacle. It's a proper swim, and this could be an opportunity for McDonald to close the gap. A real energy sapper here as we get towards the business end of this race. Well, you can see Albin is definitely still in the lead, but is McDonald just beginning to close? One or two just struggling to hold on. The life jacket is off, and McDonald is back in pursuit of a tired-looking leader.
It's cold at the moment. Eyes into that section, and now my arm's just gone. I'm really not looking forward to monkey bars.
Well, the monkey bars await them and the rest of the field. Meanwhile, if it's possible, the mud is getting even thicker and even slippier. 5,500 competing this weekend, and good to see most of them still able to muster a smile and a decent bomb there to enter the water as well. The halfway stage, rejuvenating tired legs as they enter the Ewok Village, one of the permanent structures that will remain here on the Burghley Estate for future events. Well, that's one way to do it in style and in unison. Well, there's a long way to go for these competitors, as there is for the two leaders. Join us after the break as Ross McDonald and John Albin continue to battle to be the inaugural champion of this fascinating Rat Race Dirty weekend. See you soon. Welcome back to the Rat Race Dirty weekend at Burghley. There are 5,500 competitors taking on the world's biggest assault course here in the leafy surrounds of Lincolnshire. There's water, there's mud, there's sweat and tears. It's a brilliant test of everything these competitors have got. It's 20 miles and 20 obstacle zones to negotiate. The leaders, John Albin, and that's Ross McDonald in hot pursuit. A mix of tactics so far. Albin has been going hard. McDonald is trying to reel him in.
So the marathons and half marathons I've been doing early this year should have been good training for this event. The swimming I do will hopefully give me a good base to build on for the water obstacles, as well as everything that involves dragging my body over those obstacles.
Well, John Albin has been caught, but he still looks fairly relaxed. There's still a little bit of dialogue going on between these two rivals, but how much will depend on the next challenge.
The biggest thing that I've been reading about is the monkey bars. 110 metres of monkey bars doesn't sound like any mean feat. I class myself as more of a runner than sort of a strength person, but obviously with the monkey bars and with the other obstacles they've got, it'll be interesting, we'll see.
Well, it's not just the arms that are tested at the monkey bars, it's the balance and poise as well. McDonald winning that battle at the moment, but there's still so little between the two long-term leaders. A real grit of the teeth there from John Albin. And a smile from the rest of the competitors. The Sofa Kings certainly look like they're enjoying themselves. And still the mud gets thicker. Now, here they are. This is biggest, baddest and boldest. 110 metres on the monkey bars. Now, Ross McDonald looks like he'll be the first to have a go, just checking his grip. And he, along with everyone else here, has options. On the left is the world record route. Now, this would be the quickest way to negotiate this obstacle, but arguably the hardest, 110 metres. If an athlete only wants to tackle a short distance on the monkey bars, they negotiate the chicken run, which may look easier, but is much more time consuming. So, John Alban now having a go, but it's so much harder and so much further than it looks on TV. 110 metres is the equivalent of a marathon with the arms. Now McDonald has lost the gloves and lost his grip. There's a lot of testosterone flying around there, and McDonald has already decided to go for the shorter route on the monkey bars and negotiate his way past the chicken run. And you can see why this does take much longer. Alban's trying to negotiate these without touching them, but he's already getting tired. McDonald now using the obstacles to create a little bit of an advantage. Made the decision quicker than his rival that 110 metres on the monkey bars was not for him. And he's already up and trying to establish a little bit of an advantage. So it's roles reversed here, because in the early stages Alban was using the obstacles to gain a lead, and this time it's McDonald. There are still several tricky obstacle zones to come, including Burghley Horseplay, setting for the world famous cross-country trials. Now in blue, it isn't John Alban, it is Simon Gardner trying to hang on to third place. He's got a really beefy South African behind him in the form of Warren Lloyd. Gardner has the advantage at the moment, but you get the feeling from his body language and that of Lloyd as though the South African's closing.
How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, having a great time. Just need a little bit more sunshine. Put a bigger smile on my face. Thank you.
Well, if he's only concerned about the sunshine, he's clearly feeling quite good. Gardner just having to stretch his calf out there, maybe a touch of cramp, and the South African moves up to third. Meanwhile, the battle for first place has once again seen a change. John Alban has got himself a second wind here and a slight advantage over Ross McDonald. But still it looks as though the man in red is comfortable. Glances at the camera, wading his way through the water. But Alban now has an advantage. And there's a real intent in his running as he gets towards the end of this race and enters the Legends of Sherwood. A definite spring in his step now, and is this his concerted bid to make sure he is the one to become the inaugural champion here on this fabulous Lincolnshire estate? McDonald has definitely lost ground. They move right, they move left, and backwards as well. It's a slippery business negotiating this 20-mile course. But most are still doing so with a smile on their face, and some have continued to try the world record route, 110 metres in the monkey bars. Others gave up quickly, some got to halfway, but all of them are finding this too much to bear. Agony to do and agony to watch. Well, all these willing, enthusiastic competitors will get their chance on the monkey bars. Well, here's a former paratrooper who believes he's got the momentum and the strength to get all the way to the end. He's two at a time. It's Mike Cartwright. He practiced doing chin-ups. He did some research on YouTube and he has smashed it. The big guns of Mike Cartwright, and he has negotiated the world record route. Smiles and funky costumes from some, determination from all.
Cold, tired, wet.
I want to go home. Oh, loving it. Fantastic. Cramps setting in, starting to flag, but yeah, still going.
Spirit and enthusiasm needed in equal measure to tame this epic.
How's it going?
Terrible. Oh, nearly there though. Don't show me wife this, will you? Look at ambulances. Oh.
We're doing well.
We're actually doing this. And it's raining. But we don't care because we're wet already.
That's the spirit. This is a course and an event that asks all the questions of these competitors, but the cold, the rain and the cramp won't stop them from getting to the finish line, even if they need a little bit of a helping hand through the hard times. Meanwhile, the drive for the finish and the inaugural title is upon us. And it's John Alban who's managed to stay out front. His second wind was the difference, and it is he who crosses the finish line first. Tired, I'm sure, but delighted also. He timed that drive to perfection. A brilliant piece of stamina. Job done.
I feel ecstatic, tired and cold, in that order, I think. Oh, it was excellent. It was, yeah, a bit of everything. A lot of obstacles I've not seen before. Those inflatables, trying to haul yourself out of the water onto those, that was harder than I was expecting.
So another win for John Alban, another runner-up spot for Ross McDonald, but this is a rivalry that will continue to run and run.
Yeah, we know each other from the Survival series because it's the same finishing order as it was in London in Survival of the Fittest last year. So we know each other well enough to chat on the way around and gauge each other. Those last couple of miles, I was quite happy to jog. If there'd been a sprint finish between us, then that would have been my sprint speed. I've done quite a lot of endurance events, and that's the most exhausted I've been. Yeah, knackered.
While McDonald and Alban can enjoy a drink, still they make their way through the obstacles, the Legends of Sherwood, the Burghley Bedsit, and then the relief of the finish line. Danielle Murphy can muster a smile. The leading lady, a really good time. 3 hours 13, just 22 minutes behind John Alban's winning time.
I'm exhausted, but it was so good. It was a brilliant thing to do, and I've really enjoyed it, but I am absolutely knackered now.
There's no doubt Burghley House has formed a backdrop to a truly energy-sapping event, but it's also been a lot of fun.
All the way around, I'll say never again, but it's the greatest race I've ever done.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was great. Absolutely fantastic. Like.
Oh, knackered, absolutely knackered.
Yeah, some good course.
What a challenge.
The worst point, easily the lake, but get the beer tent now.
No problem,
Like the monkey bars. You need to be really good.
It was all right. It was good fun. Yeah, ish.
Fantastic stuff.
I need a beer now, I think, yeah.
People have been helping each other out there. It's never been a race, it's just a challenge. Helping people out of obstacles, lifting people up, you know, teamwork, making friends you don't know when you're out there. Top event.
Well, a fabulous day requires a fabulous night. A brilliant way to round off what's been an energetic, tiring, but exhilarating 20 miles on one of the country's most fabulous estates. From the inaugural Rat Race Dirty Weekend, see you next year.